how it does. It's like, do you want it on the cloud? I'm all, I don't know what a cloud is. No, I'm kidding. Do I have that on my computer? It's so funny because I love what I do, but I don't like the technical part. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm over that already. So I'm manifesting an assistant who's just going to put that all together. So I wanted to thank you, beautiful ladies, for coming. I'm just going to start off with how I start everything and just let people know that my name is Julie Dart. I am a medium. I've been a medium since I can remember. So this is my life purpose, where some people can actually go to classes and learn to be a medium. This is a gift that came to me. So then I started seeing, like, the first vision I remember of mediumship, which I didn't know my whole life until I was 36, that I was a medium. I just thought this was common sense. Other people see this too. So I never thought to share it with other people, because why would I tell you a chair is in the room when you already know that? So I wasn't aware that other people weren't saying things. But I do remember vividly this main thing, and I want to thank my mom in heaven for helping me with this. At the time, I was about 5 years old, and I was in my room playing, and my grandmother like floated through my room. I wasn't scared or anything. I actually thought it was her, and she was trying to talk to me, but she wasn't using her lips, and I didn't understand at the age of 5 what that meant. And so I went out in the living room. I was like, let me get my mom. She'll help me. So I came in. I was like, Mom, Grandma's in my room. She has something she wants to tell me, but I don't know what it is. And my mom said, no, don't you remember? Grandma lives across town. She doesn't live with us. And I was like, I guess not. So I went back in my room, and Grandma wasn't there anymore. And I didn't think anything of it. And I played with my Barbies or whatever I was doing. I went to sleep. And the next day, my mom woke me up, and she said, we got a phone call this morning that Grandma Julia passed away yesterday. And I was like, oh, and she goes, that must have been why you saw her. She must have been visiting you. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, as if it's just a normal conversation. I no EBGBs about it or anything like that. And then when I started, it wasn't until I started elementary school that I remember specifically in the 3rd grade, I was telling everybody that we were going to have a substitute teacher, and that he was going to be bald because our teacher was sick. And then in walks this guy, and he's like, you can call me Mr. Baldy, but my name's whatever, Mr. Weiniger or whatever. And everybody kind of looked at me, and I just thought, yeah, that's cool. See, I told you our teachers. And they looked at me and they go, how did you know that? And I go, I don't know. I go, I just knew it. And then at recess, they were like, you're a witch. And I just remember thinking, oh, this is not something good, is it? Like, I don't know how did I know that? Like, and so I went home and I kind of told my mom a little bit about it. And I don't remember her response. I just remember thinking, I'm not going to start sharing this stuff anymore. And it wasn't until I was in college that it started to come out pretty profoundly. A lot of people would say, Julie's a psychic. She could ask her where Lisa is, or blah, 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 blah. And I would say, it feels like she's at a bonfire over in Avila Beach. And it was like, that's what I would say. And to me, it was common sense. And it wasn't until I started hanging around my good friend Tammy, after I had my daughter. Of course, when you're intuitive and you have children, it even comes in up more, because you're very much connected to your kids. You have that awareness for them as well. So then when I had my kids, it just busted wide open. And I had a dream that one of my friends in college was rocking in a fetal position. And I looked up his number, and when I called him, he had said that his dad had passed away at 3:30 in the morning. And that's why I was having that dream about him. So it's very interesting to me how this works and why I dream the dreams I have. Sometimes they do not make sense to me. I won't even know the person, but I always write them down or leave a journal. And sometimes I'll know, it'll be like an acquaintance, and I'll dream about them. So I know my dreams now mean something. And I know because of my friend Tammy, who gave me maybe 20 books, without exaggerating, on mediumship and listening to your intuition. The more I read these books, I thought, oh my gosh, I guess I am this, I guess. And it was very empowering, ladies, because being a medium and knowing things now is really cool. So when I give you guys readings, and I'll start to do that here in a moment, because they're talking in my ear and I don't have a choice. Like, it's like, you know how when you're on the phone and your dog starts barking, or, you know, that's when your family wants to talk to you. It's like, that's what's happening right now. So I'm going to get a little bit sidetracked here, because I get fuzzy energy when that happens in a good way. But let me say, so back to it. If it wasn't for Tammy, I wouldn't know these things. And it really allowed me to be empowered. Whereas before I just thought I was a big weirdo. Like your average person would say, what do you mean it feels like someone's going to be there? Do you know what I mean? But the friends I had, thank goodness that God had a plan, connected me with the right friends at the right time to help me become empowered with my gift. And so that's just been kind of my journey. I just had studied with different teachers to kind of see which tools would work better for me. And I did do angel cards at one time, and I don't have anything against those, but it's just the more I got into my gift, I just say a prayer and I just say, God and angels, please show me what you want me to know. And then they'll start to show me that. So in saying that, I think I'm ready to begin. And I just want to thank all of you for coming. And I know that when I have a group together, there's no coincidence that you're in the group that you're in with the people that you're with. So you're all very intuitive. Even if you say, oh, no, I have a friend, she's more intuitive than me. If you're discounting it anyway, I want you to know that this is a good time just to own your intuition, own that gut feeling that you've been having. And in the meantime, if my dogs start barking or whatever, ignore them. We have turkeys on our property, and I just get random, they'll just start barking. So we're just going to ignore these crazy animals, because already one is kind of like starting to kind of growl at one of them. But okay, so I'm ready to begin. Are you all ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, buckle your seatbelts, put your hands in. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like I'm taking you guys on a Disneyland ride or something. We're going to go on a, what is that called? Yeah, a roller coaster ride. Okay. So let me see. The first thing that I'll start seeing, and I was sharing with Kim earlier, something that happens to me when I do readings for people is it's almost like they put a highlight behind you, and that's how I'll start to see like what's going on. And sometimes people's relatives will come in and bring people here. I have a lot of dads here today. So wait a minute. So Melissa, your dad is crossed over, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Kim, yes. Kim, your dad is crossed over, correct? And then Holly, is your dad crossed over?
Yeah.
And then, but Loretta, is your dad here?
No, he's
crossed over. I see a gentleman around you on the earth plane that's like father figure. So hold on one second. It'll make more sense. So I don't know if you have a brother-in-law that watches out for you, but there's someone who has stepped in like a father figure. This can sometimes be a husband too, but that's okay. So interesting, isn't that we have so many dads on the other side starting to come through. And as I see who is coming through first, I think I'm going to go to Melissa. So one of the things that I'm seeing is I'm seeing Melissa, and so I have to pretend like I don't know you. So I'm like, okay, lady in the white sweater. No, I'm just kidding. So as I see you, one of the things that I'm seeing with your dad is he's telling me he's going like this. So that tells me that he was extremely good looking when he was younger. There's something about him. They're singing that song, bad boys, what you gonna do when they come for you? So he was just like, this would be like wild and reckless life living. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he, nobody could ever say that this man didn't live. As a matter of fact, it's amazing he lived as long as he did, because he shows me him being, at a younger age, being very, what I would call rambunctious. Does that make sense to you when I say that about anything that you know about him?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he had a fire in his soul where nobody would tell him no. Like, as a matter of fact, if you told him no, then that would just make him want to do the thing that you're telling him not to do. Even if you explained it's for your safety, you're not supposed to do this, don't touch the fire, it's hot. He's like, oh, is it? So he kind of really gave his mom a run for his money, because he always had to be like hands-on trying things. That's what he's showing me. He also tells me that he passed away you were very young when he passed away. So is that true? You were young when he passed away?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And one of the things that he's saying is, I understand that. Can you slow down a little bit for me, sweetheart? And I'll make sure I tell her. One of the things that he's saying is, this doesn't happen with all passings, but it happened with you and he, where he could no longer be the father figure that he needed to be for you on the earth's plane. And he didn't know this in his human form, but spiritually he knew that he was going to be a guide for you on the other side. So it makes me feel like he's been a guide for you on the other side this whole time. So this whispering of like, don't go that way, watch out, he's definitely there to help you in this way. Do you know if he did he drink or something like that? Did he have any problems with addictions of any kind?
Drugs and alcohol.
Okay, I feel it started with alcohol. That's what I'm feeling. And then I feel that it went to drugs. That's what he's kind of showing me. And, but there's something of, I don't know if you've been working on this, your life with him, or if you're finding peace with his passing, or some kind of peace with who he was. Have you been working on that or something? Because I feel like I need to say that there's some kind of peace. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I feel like I'm at peace with, you know, I definitely grew up feeling like I missed out, and especially like, where there'd be father-daughter dances or like parents' weekend at college, and it would be so hard for me. And even though he died when I was so young, I felt like I was always mourning every time something like that happened, because I felt like an outcast, but now I do feel like he watches over me and my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely feel at peace with that.
Good. And I admire you for that, because we have a choice to go either angry or peace. And I just feel like there's something about you, they're saying, where you're just like, who, this is the saying, I'm choosing peace because hate is too great of a burden to bear. Who says, is that Nelson Mandela? I'm going to get, no?
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kim. Yeah. So I just keep hearing that you're doing such a great job. And when they show me that, they say chain breaker. Melissa's a chain breaker. And then right when that happens, it goes boom, 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 boom. So everybody here had this life where they said, I'm not going to do this pattern anymore. That there's no way I'm passing this on in my life. And we said no, right? So there's something about that. And so they're like, I know you guys can't see it, but I keep seeing streamers go up, like etheric streamers from the other side. So there's like an angel party going on where they're so happy that we're doing all of this. So I can see that. Hold on. I'm going to start jumping around here. So I'm just going to let it go. So I know I'm going to come back, and you guys are welcome to ask questions here in a moment. But as I've given you guys readings, you know how it just kind of starts to come out. So Loretta, I'm coming to you now, where I don't know if your dad was short. I'm 5'7". So was your dad short, or how tall are you?
He wasn't that tall. He was about 5'10", but I'm only 5 feet.
Okay, because I get like short. Okay, so it's you. Okay. And hold on one second, because I've read you before, I feel. Did I come to your house and read you?
Yeah, that was right. Yeah.
Because I'm having like a flashback, and then they'll show me. Now, hold on one second. Do you have a sister that's crossed over?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, I have to do this, because there's no other way to, like, I felt so warm in my heart and almost like I was going to cry. And then she started going, okay, white girl, let's see what you can do for my sister. Let me see if you can talk to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, oh, I'm so... She's like, can we get a Latino psychic to do this for my sister? I don't know about this one girl. Like, I was like, okay, I'll just sit here.
That's so funny.
Does that make sense to you when I'm describing? And she's just flipping her hair. Like, there's something like, I felt like there was like, she just would not want to have had short hair, because her hair was part of her personality. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know why I keep seeing Selena, like if she danced to Selena, if she thought she was Selena, if she thought she was going to be famous one day or something like that, if there was this air about her where she like lit up the room. Do you know what I mean? I just keep seeing that. Does that make sense to you when I say that?
Oh, definitely. Spot on.
Okay. So she's showing me that, and she's talking about, do you work in a hospital or something like that?
I do.
Okay, because she's showing me mask and gloves, and obviously we're all in COVID right now, so I wasn't sure. She was just, you might just be out shopping at Trader Joe's, right? Like that might just be a natural thing. Okay, she talks about that, and she's like, look, are you her little sister?
Yeah, I'm the
Okay,
youngest.
because I feel like I need to say, look, I didn't know if she meant like short little or little sister, because she's like, look at my little sister. She is a nurse. Like, are you a nurse then? Like, she's like, you're in the hospital, you're helping people. Our family doesn't do stuff like that. So are you the first one in your family to go down this path, to be educated, to go to school, to have this kind of career? Are you the first to do that in your family?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, it's so funny because you seem very humble and kind and quiet. Can I tell you, if your sister did what you did, she'd be like, get out of my way, I'm a nurse. Get out of my way, I'm a nurse. Like, she would tell everybody. Like, she'd be like, you cut your finger? Like, I can handle that, I'm a nurse. You know what I mean? It's like, she just is so funny. So she would be bragging on it to everyone. Do you know what I mean? And so she makes me, she's hilarious. Oh my God. I almost feel like, you know how that movie Ghost, when Whoopi Goldberg channels, I feel like I'm literally becoming your sister. I'm like, all of a sudden, like, I'm like, ooh, I want a margarita. I'm like, I don't even drink. And all of a sudden I was like, I need a cocktail right now. So,
Yeah, she's definitely animated for sure.
Yeah, she is so much. And so she is also showing me very much like Melissa was saying, that she has had peace with her father's passing. There's something about your sister coming through, saying that you have become at peace more with her passing. Does that make sense to you?
I think so. Oh my God, I'm gonna freak out now.
No, go ahead. And please note,
it took me several years. Yeah, I was just telling my neighbor, it took me several years to talk about her without crying. But you know, ever since we started meeting, Jules, I feel like she communicates with me, if that's the correct word. But all the signs that we talked about, like, it's just all around all the time, constantly. And I'm like, I know that her energy is here, it's there, it's everywhere, it's all the time. And some of the practices I haven't been consistent with, like writing letters and things like that. But yeah, it's been very healing.
I'm so glad to hear that. And and this is where people always say it must be fun being a medium, because you get to see that. And I am so happy that I get to do that, but I'm just the conduit. I'm just an adapter of something that you already have naturally. So I'm so glad you being open to the signs are what helped the signs come, because some people are too logical and they'll say, well, yeah, I saw a feather, but there's always feathers around. Do you know what I mean? There was literally, when I was writing about angels, and I live on 13 acres now out here in Oregon, and I came back and I took a shower. So there's no way anything's left in my hair. I showered, I dried it with a towel, I blow dry, and then I'm walking around and there is a feather in my hair, like in it. So the more we're open to, the more that it's almost like they're going, okay, let me see what I can show you, because their love for us is immense. And they're just trying to come through in any way that they can. So I'm so glad that you're open to that. There's something about, she's talking about your work and she's showing me pennies from heaven. So she's going like this. So I don't know if you've recently got a raise, if there's been some talk about you, something about your income having more of an increase, because that's what she's showing me to you. And she's saying to look around, this is like February or March, where this is going to happen if it hasn't happened already. Okay.
We have scheduled increases, so as long as you keep showing up to work, they keep increasing us every whatever it is, by yearly or biannually. So
okay. So I wonder if one of those is coming in February or March, because she talks about that as well. So please know to look at that. And are you a mom? Do you have little kids or something?
Yeah.
Okay. She just keeps talking about you're a great mom. Oh, hold on a second. And then did you raise her kids? Did you take in her kids?
My niece lived with me for a while.
Yeah. And she goes, that wasn't easy. I know that wasn't easy. She goes like that. So she wants to thank you for that. And so she makes me feel like the whole family came together, where sometimes when someone passes away, they do opposite. It's like they don't want to talk about, there were hard feelings. They're not processing it the same way, but you guys all came together for the kids. But I feel like they're a lot older now. Do you know what I mean? Like 20, 21, I'm getting like older. Are the kids older now?
Yeah, they're about, around there. My niece is 22 and my nephews must be 19.
Okay, perfect. Well, she comes through just saying thank you so much for that, and she knows that was not easy. I feel like her passing was something where it's reminded me, no wonder they went from Melissa and they went over to Loretta, because the way that Melissa's dad passed was and I don't like to put this word on you guys, but this is what they're saying. They're calling it tragic. And then they're saying that about Melissa's dad, and then they're saying that about your sister. So did both of these people pass away in a fast way? Not in illness, but in a fast way? Okay. Yeah. And there's something about that kind of mourning that no one can. It's like when someone passes away gradually. Hold on one second, because they're bringing this up again. Okay, hold on. I've got someone else who passed away abruptly too. So hold on. I think I'm jumping to you, Kim. Because they're showing me you. I don't feel your dad passed away so fast, but so you have a brother, correct? Did he pass away fast?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm getting like rug pulled out from under my feet. Does that make sense? Okay.
Absolutely.
Hold on one second. And I know I've read you before, and this has happened, where I get that warm feeling, just like I did with Loretta, like, oh, and then all of a sudden he's like, nope, we're not going to do that. Tell her that I'm better looking than her. My nose is better. My eyes are better. And even though she's pretty, I am prettier. Like, he just is like, I don't even know how to say this. And I feel like if you guys were getting ready in school, he would bump you and like look at himself in the mirror and push you out of the way, because he's like, I'm the good look. You know what I mean? He's doing that.
He was stunning. He was gorgeous. He's absolutely like striking.
Yeah. And I don't know why he's making me feel like, because you guys, hold on one second. Are you guys twins? Are you guys twins? Yes. But somehow you feel older to me. So I don't know if you were always taking care of him, if you saw him going down a not so good path and you were trying to help him. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So I see that. I understand, sweetheart. I understand. Are you currently right now changing your career, Kim? Are you going to do something with your career?
I am. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm shifting. It's a little slow to take off, but huge change.
He is so funny, because he's like, what was she waiting for? So he's like, timing, like it was timing. So a lot of people have just not worked because of COVID. So is your job change COVID related? Did something happen?
Definitely during COVID, but it had been a rough, I'm going to say 15 months. And I was really relieved when things ended. And I knew that it needed to happen. It's like I was just pushed out of the nest. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful, really grateful. But it's still, it's scary, looking forward.
Yeah, very much so. He makes me feel like, first, he wants to thank you for helping him, because he realizes that was no easy task for you. Do you know what I mean? That was not an easy job. And right when you thought you were making a difference with him or something like that, it was like, he shows me a roller coaster ride. So right when you thought like, we're getting to him, he's going to get it this time, he would go off and did he have addiction problems as well? Yeah, because I'm getting this thing going. See how this happens. And so he very much is coming through saying that he understands how hard that was on you. And as he says that, then he goes to Melissa and Loretta, and then their family comes forward with the same kind of message. They understand that that was not easy, and that might be something like a theme that lingers around you now. Like when someone is, there's a certain personality that goes with somebody with addictions, and they will say this and their personality will do something else. Do you guys understand what I'm saying when I say that? And like the passive aggressiveness. So they're saying that you guys have gotten a master's, and I'm assuming Holly does too. I haven't heard it yet, but I'm like, this is a theme running back and forth here, where you guys have a master's on intuition, and one that you did not want, by the way. You did not, somebody was telling me, like, I went through these, was it Brene Brown that said this? But my daughter was quoting her. She said, I went through all of this and it made me really strong, but I never asked to be this strong because that was really hard. Do you know what I mean? And so what you have gone through with people with addictions has got you this master's training in, now wait a minute, I know when someone's being passive aggressive, and I know when someone's saying something and doing something else, that there's like a heightened awareness for someone with addictions or someone who has that like personality. Does that make sense for you guys? Okay. Yeah, so they're showing that with me. Your brother is saying that he's glad that you are changing your job. He's making me feel like this is a long time coming, where it was just, you were just depleted after you left. So I'm wondering if you're an empath. Do you know what that word is? An empath?
I am.
Okay, absorb everybody's energy and just try to cheer everybody up all the time, and came home depleted, he's showing me. So does that make sense to you when I say that? Okay, because he's showing me that. And he's saying that this is a long time coming. You're going to be very good at the next chapter of what you're doing. I hope it's under the healing umbrella and something that you have more in charge of. And it's not that your last job was a waste of time. It's just that you have a natural gift, and it would be a shame to not have that shared. And something that I'm seeing in 2020 is that, and I was doing this beautiful walk this morning, meditating for you guys, and I kept hearing 2020 was all about using resources, using natural resources again, like being like minimalists and using our resources. So if there are hidden talents that we had, if we're like, I'm going to do this later. When my kids are older, I'll be able to do this. When I don't have this job anymore, I'll go do this. And it was like all those things that we had been putting off for the last 5 years, all of a sudden came in 2020, where they're like, guess what? We're going to take this job away from you, or we're going to take this habit away from you, or something like that, to get you more aligned, to stand more in your power. Does that make sense to you guys? And in no way was that easy. Oh, go ahead, Kim. You want to?
I just want, you use the word minimalist, and my I'm becoming a professional an organizing coach, and my business name is Sentimental Minimalist.
I love it.
So
I
really,
love it.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
cool. And
But
I
just said that, I was like,
yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm like, where were you before we moved to Oregon? No, I'm just kidding. We had all this stuff. It really is overwhelming for people who don't know what to do with stuff. They're so attached to it. I'm so glad that you're going to be doing that. And just then you get to just work on your own hours and just bring cheer to other people. I know you're going to do really well at that.
thank you.
Yeah. And it's a perfect time for it, because so many people need that we really do. And so I just kept hearing, use your resources. Look at the resources that you have right now. And we do have to put ourselves out there. That was the other thing that I was hearing. If you're uncomfortable about something, God knows, when I hear my voice, I just go, because I don't like the sound of my voice, and I don't like being videotaped at all. But I've had so many clients say, my angels are telling me to tell you that it's not about how you look. You have to get over that, because the message that you're relaying to other people is so important. So just you have to just remove your feelings about being videotaped and get over it and just give the message already. And I was like, okay, that sounds like what my angels are always saying, videotape it, share. And so I want to thank you guys for allowing me to do this today as well for people who they wouldn't go out and get a reading otherwise, or they're afraid to get a reading because they're not exactly sure how this works. But any messages in here, it's not going to surprise me that someone else is going to be listening to this and they have lost their job or lost a loved one due to a tragic way, and are looking at you all now, seeing how far you've come. And I keep hearing that one of you, if not all of you, I just keep hearing this, so I have to say it that one more time. The path on how you healed from this. And you might not feel, you don't have to be perfect to be healed. You just have to be so much better off than you were. Your path and tools on how you learned how to survive this, like your survival guide your story is going to be someone else's survival guide. That's what it is. And so it's really important to share your story. If it's not in a book or a blog, then it's just one-on-one with somebody. You're really going to make a difference. And the more that you feel like, and I feel like this might be going to Melissa, but I also am jumping over to Holly a little bit when I see this. So I know for with Melissa, there was a while ago where you were doing a blog or writing a book, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that same thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can, when I started teaching these classes, I was like, I want an angel drop in the background. I want blah, blah, blah. And they're like, do we just do it already? And I was like, okay, just do it. So it's like, we kind of have to have a Nike angel that says, just do it. Release a little bit at a time. And then that will help as well. And Melissa, for some reason, the April is really big. So I don't know if that's someone's date of their passing, or one of your children have that, or if April for you is significant by any means.
April is when my dad died.
Okay.
And then 8 days later, my sister was born. And then it's also my mom's birthday.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's why they're showing you have a lot of that going on. So that would be, again, your dad is your guide. He brings up April. That's him. He's very much on the other side, working with you here on the earth plane to finish what he couldn't finish. I have a feeling of he also, to me, was a helper, somebody who wanted to help people. And when he was bright, he was a bright light. And when it was dark, it was really dark. Do you know what I mean? Like he could really bright up a room. And so I just have a feeling that that's where the addictions came from. And this is back in the day when we just didn't know about empaths for men. But I just keep feeling like he must have been a light worker, because that's the energy that he's showing me around you. And so I feel he's working with you now to help you tell your story. And there's something about your voice, like when you talk, I immediately get so relaxed. So I feel like podcast, vlog,
Really?
whatever. Yes. It's just I just feel immediately like I'm like, okay, Julie, can't relax. You're doing a reading for her. But it's just, all of a sudden I start falling asleep. You guys are like, did she go? Where is she? No. it's
supposed to be quiet.
Julie's falling asleep on us. Yes, no, it's very soothing. And I think other people are going to find that as well. And I feel like after your journey that you've been on with your childhood and then your marriage and then the kids, I feel like you have a lot to share with other people, that you're just feeling like this goes back to, I only share things about me if it goes to you. I didn't think to share things I was hearing about people because I thought they were just common sense. So you might just be saying, well, this is going to be a blog, but that's just common sense. It's common sense to you because you've healed from that, and you know that now. Does that make sense to you? But it's not common sense to other people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So there is something. I don't feel like anything's going to blossom big now. I feel like it's just time to get organized and just kind of, we go along with the seasons as far as like we just get kind of quiet during the winter. We kind of start hibernating a little bit. So rest over the winter time, maybe jot down some notes to start sharing. And then I really feel like January, it just really feels like things start to open. And I feel by the end of the year, I'm definitely seeing things take off with your writing at the end of 2021 and 2022. Because I feel the girls
I've been writing my book. So
Yes, yes. Yay! I mean, like, celebrate good times. Come on. No. I wish Zoom had a thing where it like would put things down if you wanted to put down streamers or something. I think that would be so great. Yeah. And that's a lot, right? Because you're working and you've got the girls that you're handling. So hats off to you for being able to follow that, because some people, when they're writing a book, they want to sit down at I was going to say a typewriter. We don't have those anymore. At a laptop, and they just want to write it. And that's not really realistic. It doesn't, it doesn't come out that way. So
No.
I know. So it takes a lot of patience, especially when you have those creative juices and you just want it to come out now. But I just feel like it's going to be worth the wait. And your dad, of course, being the drinker, he's like, it's going to be like red wine. It feels like it's not going to be good to wait, but the longer you wait, the better it's going to be. I'm like, okay, good analogy, Dad. So
Okay.
please know that some things are better, like when they're marinating and they take a longer time. So he is showing me that. And I don't know if you like Pinot Noir or if he did, but I'm specifically seeing a glass that says Pinot Noir on it. Does that make sense to you?
Well, I do love wine. I like red wine, but I'm pretty sure my mom and dad, when they were married, their wedding song was that Billy Joel "Bottle of Red, Bottle of White." It was like one of their favorite songs. So
yes, that's why he's like,
he might have liked it too.
Yeah, he's so hung up on the red wine. Okay, perfect. I love that. Yeah, he's showing me that as well. So let me pull back here. I want to thank him for saying that. And let me hop around a little bit to see if there's anything. Okay. Wait, so much. Woo, that was way too much. Which way do you guys want to go? They were like, and then tell her that, and tell her that, and tell her that. Okay, so I think I'm jumping over to Holly here. And like I said, you guys will be able to ask questions here in a moment. But when I call it when they're blabbing, I just let them keep talking. So Holly, I want to go over to you for a moment. And okay, so your dad is crossed over. That's right. So your dad is crossed over. And he keeps, were we doing this? So I just gave you a reading and I was going, and while I was giving you a reading, it was on the phone and I was going like this. So I was like, did you just get eyelashes or something? Yeah. Okay. Because I was, I go, I don't know why I'm blinking so hard. What's happening to me? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, those are pretty long.
They're huge.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there's no mistaking it.
Because I couldn't tell with
It's
your
hard
glasses.
to see them if you had your glasses on. Yeah.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
it's hard to tell.
Oh my gosh. That's beautiful. Okay. So he's showing me Kim, and then he's showing me Holly. And sometimes when we are friends with people, one person will go through something so that they could reach a hand out to help the other person. And so this is interesting to me because I just got the biggest jolt of energy came through me when it's you two have started your own companies. So Holly, you're starting your own company?
Well, I bought into my salon as a shareholder and I'm a partner now.
Right.
So that's, at the beginning of the year, I did that.
Oh my gosh. And then Kim now, right? Yeah, starting hers. And so this is like birds of a feather flock together. So when you have friends like that, they always have friends start going through the similar kind of challenges. It may not be like actually owning a business, but it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of your friends are going to be going through some changes in their careers too. And something I keep hearing about this, Holly, is I keep hearing with you, that also was a long time coming. Do you know what I mean? Like you really working for people who didn't run things the right way. And you're very much an empath. Also, they're showing me, do you actually do hair as well?
Yes. And I also do personal development meetings with all the people who we employ.
Okay, perfect.
So I'm kind of.
Yeah, I love that it's going that way for you. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Because they showed me you working on people's hair, and then they were just saying that she just gives them readings all the time, that you're very intuitive.
Oh.
And you'll just say,
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
My clients.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, the hair, you know, the hair and the color, that was 150. And then the reading, that was 125, you know, just like you're doing double the job for what you were doing. So they're showing me that. I love that. Perfect. So one of the things that they're showing me is they're saying like it's starting off small, but then it's going to grow. And I feel like you guys are being very selective about who you're bringing in, even though the money may not be coming in a lot. So what I'm feeling is that instead of just grabbing anybody, because you guys need more people working there and you need the money, that you're not doing that, that you're being very cautious.
No, we are. Right now, we've had problems with people who are very flaky or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're being more, I'm more selective anyway, because I feel like I have a sense about people because I've been around people who aren't very good. So I feel like I have a better sense than people do. So
yeah, that was that master's degree I was talking about before, right? We're like, we've all learned this lesson. We don't have to do it again. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Just get that gut feeling like something's not quite right. Yeah. Which, going back to, I feel like all of us had this period before where we were thinking, and this is going to be a good message they're telling me so other people can hear this, is when you are intuitive and you think, I can't trust this person, it's not, oh my gosh, who am I to judge this other person? I'm not a good person. I'm thinking bad about them. Like our society says, it's if you are feeling that there's something off about a person, then there is. Do you know what I mean? That's just point blank. So you're all now, as I'm scanning, you all have gone into your power in that. And Loretta, so I just keep looking at you and your sisters coming through so clear. And they're like, if her kids ever lie, she'll know. She will know. Like she goes like that. So this is what she's telling me to tell you, this is what I used to tell my kids. Cause I would ask them and then I would ask him again. And then I would ask him again. Finally, I got them both together. I said, okay, I need to tell you guys something. If I ask you something and you give me an answer and I ask you that same question again, it's because I knew you were lying to me the first time and I'm giving you a chance to tell me the truth. And I keep seeing that with you, Loretta. It's like, really? Like you just get like this, there's.
Sometimes I feel like I have that. Like I can just see, I just give them the eyes and I'm like, I'm not even going to talk to you because I already know, we both know you didn't do your chores. So
yeah,
go do it.
Right. So you just know, or like, you're like, does it feel like you brushed your teeth? Do you know what I mean? Or whatever. Or doesn't, when my kids got older, I would say, it doesn't feel like you're going over to the park. And they would go, oh, just tell her where we are. She already knows. Because it's just like that feeling, right? And so your sister was like, her kids are just, they're doomed. They're just like, just be honest with me. So she was showing me that. Like, if I ask you the first time, then I ask you again, it's because I already know that you were lying. I'm giving you a chance. And if we go to the third, we're getting phones and everything taken away because it's like, I can't have people around me that lie, which I'm going back to this group on that too. When you're that intuitive, you need people that are high energy around you with friends and coworkers, because if people are lying, have already gone through that where it's messed with your head. You've already gone through the feeling of, I'm feeling like they're telling me this, but then they're doing something else. And we're not going to allow ourselves to be in that crazy ping pong thinking anymore. It's like, no, something must be off if you're getting that feeling. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is something about that. When we were younger, it was like, don't think bad about people, be a good little girl, have good manners. And now I feel like you guys are all coming into your power. This is not about being good or bad. It's not a judgment thing. It's just what is. If a person comes in smelling like alcohol, that's a fact. It's not a judgment. Do you know what I mean? So you guys are really going to be able to pick up on that. And I feel like, especially Kim and Holly, when you own something like that you're growing upon, you really have to know that. And same for Melissa, your lessons that you've just gone through as far as like learning all of that are going to be the very foundation of which your idea grows upon. So I just keep seeing that. So I'm jumping back to Loretta and kind of jumping around a little bit. Loretta, does your husband own his own company or something?
No, he works for a construction company.
Okay. I saw construction. But is he out on his own a lot? Does he handle projects? Like, see a project?
Yeah, he's it is actually amazing because he was working under the table when we met, and yeah, he's worked his way up through that company, and he almost earns as much as me now. I'm like, how did he do that?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. But they're showing me he doesn't need when I read his energy, sweetie, I don't see him reporting to anybody else. He needs very little monitoring. Do you know what I mean? So he's either the production manager or something on a higher level, where he's the one who handles everything. Like, I feel like whoever owns the company doesn't even have to ever worry about him, because he just goes off and does everything, and he does things the right way. Do you know what I mean? He's very good, and he's very thorough. That's something that I'm hearing for him. Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, he is really driven. He's a good communicator. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna.
No, that's okay. I'm gonna have to do that with my dogs in a couple minutes. I know. And as she has kids there, I'm like, oh, can I see them? Like, I just love kids. Oh my gosh, that's another thing.
I don't know if it's too bright, but he wants to play with these decals on the window. Ben, say hi.
Oh my gosh, he's so cute.
Say hi. Okay, say hi.
Hi, sweetie. Look at us all like, oh my gosh. And see, if I didn't see, there goes my dogs. If I didn't live in Oregon right now, I'd be like, can I come over and babysit for you? Because he is so cute. Good job with him, Mama. So sweet. So let me go back here and say, hold on one second. Is he named after someone? Does he have a namesake?
Not that, no.
Okay, that's okay. I just saw really quick. So my daughter's name is Caitlin Elaine, and my mom's name is Elaine. And I kept seeing something that with your son, or it's going to be. Do you have more than just not like just one son, because that's a handful in itself. Do you have more? Do you have more children?
I have an older son, and so I wanted to keep my maiden name because my husband's name is Guzman, and then they all have that last name, Guzman, but my last name is Romandia, so his middle name is Roman.
That's
so I got to like keep the family name, I guess.
Yeah, because I felt like namesake, like it's a namesake. Do you know what I mean? I just kept seeing that as well. Okay, perfect. Oh my God.
I thought about the name much harder with the first kid, and then the second one, we're like, okay. You go to pick out a kid's name, and then you think of all the people you don't like, and then you just, I don't know.
That's so true.
They're all taken.
Especially when you have a big family, then you're like, I wanted to name my kids
Right.
Brittany and Ryan, and my sister is older than me. She's actually 2 years older on the same day. And she had her kids first, and she named them Brittany and Ryan. I was like, I could have sworn I told you those were my names, but whatever, it's okay. Can't have two Brittany and Ryans, but they're definitely Brittany and Ryan, and mine are not, obviously, but we get the names that we are supposed to have, so that's perfect. Let me see anything that they were trying to show me. One thing about your son, I know that they're showing me this little one, is that he is extremely sensitive. So it's good that you and your husband are okay with a boy like sharing his feelings. And when I'm saying that, it's like, because, you know, there are certain things where people will say, suck it up, you're a guy, you can't cry. But I feel like both you and your husband are very open to him being who he needs to be. And I feel like he's going to be very, very intuitive. And there's something about him following in your footsteps. So I don't know if he'll actually go into the medical field, or if he's under the umbrella of what I would call a healer. So he's always going to be the one when he starts school. If a kid falls down, he's going to be like, it's okay, don't cry. Like he's going to console other people. I don't know if you've seen that in him already, but he does not like it when people cry. He'll be like, no. You know what I mean? And try to get their tears. Does that make sense to you about that?
Yeah, he's definitely the one who's very touchy-feely. He tells all the friends, like as soon as the friends or neighbors come over, he wants to hug them. He wants to say goodbyes. He'll hug every single person. Whereas my other son, he's so smart, he's so intellectual, he's so articulate, but he's not interested in having a relationship with you.
Yeah, he just was like, yeah, I get that. Yeah. So my son's very affectionate, and that's how he hugs me, and he kisses me everywhere. And then my daughter's idea of a hug is she just leans her body against me, like no arms go around me or anything like that. So I understand how that goes. But just so you know, they're calling your son a little mini me, and so he's very much going to be like you, like following in mom's footsteps. That's what they're showing me. So please know that's something that they were sharing. Okay, so I'm going to pull back here for a moment. I want to make sure when I do these readings that we're addressing any concerns that you guys have, or if there's any loved ones that you are interested in coming through that maybe not have come through. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, Kim?
I was hoping for, I love when my family comes through at all, but I was hoping that my father would come through today.
Okay. So at the beginning, I feel like all the dads, remember I was like, oh my gosh, we've all lost, and my dad's on the other side too. So it's interesting that everybody's lost their dad here. I think he was overshadowed by your brother. So your dad must have more laid back energy then. So what happens is the person with the largest, largest mouth, that's the only way to say voice. They're the people that come through. So your brother was just like, there's something about your brother, and I don't know if he was feminine or if he was, so if this is making any sense to you, but when your brother comes through, he does this thing where he's like, I'm a diva. Like he comes through as a diva. That's the only way I can describe that with your brother. So it's like something charisma. Like, was he in plays or something like that when he was younger? Or was he just this joker? Like, would he do anything to make people laugh? Because there's something silly about him, like almost like a star. Like does that make sense?
Absolutely. He was very funny. He was, he's one of the funniest people I've ever known. He's one of the deepest people, I've ever known. And he was physically beautiful, and people were absolutely drawn to him. He had a mystique, and he didn't have to do much, and he was really talented. He just did so many things naturally.
Mm-hmm.
But he ended up struggling. And so yeah, and he definitely had, he performed, I just remember stuff when he was younger, like in Cub Scouts or Indian Guides, where they would do things. And my brother he dressed up like a baby. Like he had he had a diaper on and a bottle. And I don't remember what the thing was, but it was an absolute hit. And he did this in front of a huge crowd at some event. So he was a goof. I mean, like he was.
Okay, that's it. Because he came in and he saw I was a diva, and I was like, I don't know what you're trying to show me, what that means, diva, like for a guy. But then I get it now. Yeah. Charismatic, like he was, because I was like, are you show tunes or something like that? Yeah, so he comes through that way. So when his personality's all over the place, then I have to kind of like acknowledge him and put him to the side, and then bring your dad through. But sweetheart, is your mom also crossed over? Did you have people go boom, boom? Did you have a lot of losses at like one time? Do you know what I mean? It's like
short period of time.
Yeah, it's like this happens and I catch my breath, and then another person happens and I'm catching my breath. And I don't know if you guys had a family dog or if you lost a dog, but I feel like there's a dog over there too that I just want to like, I don't even know like how I just want to like scruffy, like come over here. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's a dog too, who's like, I'm family. Do you know what I mean? So animals cross over and they are a family as well. And so as your dad comes through, was your dad well read, or was he well educated? Because I see a lot of books. So I don't know if your dad was like just book smart, or if he was very knowledgeable. Like, see the kind of person that watches Jeopardy and he's going to know all the answers, but there's something about him showing me books behind him.
He was smart, but he was more of an intuitive smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he studied, but he didn't. They found out 2 weeks before Jeff and I were born that my mom was having twins, and my dad was going to he was going to college and quit
Oh, okay.
and went to work,
Okay.
you know, full time, just to tend care of the family. So he enjoyed reading, but it wasn't. He enjoyed reading,
Okay.
but
For him to show me books around him, that's like he's either well educated or he's like book smart. That's a sign for book smart. Like my boss used to say, you can train people, but you can't teach them common sense. Do you know what I mean? Because they're just already like naturally smart. So there's something about with your dad with that. Hold on one second. Did your dad ever work on airplanes or anything? Or do you have any other relatives
not that I know of.
worked on an airplane? Just write that down. Anybody else have like airplane mechanic in their family?
Graham did, but he's here.
No, that's okay. Just your dad would just show me it would be somebody in the family. This is just his way of showing. He's not as charismatic as your brother. So your dad either was very shy in real life, or he was just not very loud, because he makes me feel like he's just very quiet. Do you know what I mean? I can see him that way. Did you before your mom passed, did you have to take care of your mom or something? Because he's saying thank you for taking care of mom. Okay.
Yeah, I did. I took care of all of them.
Yeah. He really comes through and says thank you so much for that. He was I don't know if he was still alive then, or if he was a fish out of water, and you taking care of everybody, he just did not know what to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't the fact that he didn't want to, he just didn't know. And it was better it was like, it's kind of like you're so intuitive, you knew what your mom would need. And so she wouldn't have to yell at your dad for doing it the wrong way or something. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I feel like it was like she wanted you to do it. Do you know what I mean? I'm seeing that. Is there a Catherine around your mom? Kathy or Catherine? Or is this for anybody else? I'm hearing like Catherine.
My cousin.
Okay. That's just your mom's way of coming through. She'll just bring up people in the family. And then I don't know if around Christmas time, there was some crazy bread recipe that you had to make, or some crazy kind of thing. But she's like, you don't have to do that crazy bread thing on holidays anymore. I don't know what is the thing?
My mom, from 1973 or 4 until 2008, we had a cookie party. It was an annual cookie party, and it was at Christmas time. And my mom had this brilliant idea to, she ordered sliced bread, and had it dyed red and green. And we had roll-up sandwiches every year that were amazing. They were so cool. They're pinwheels, and I'm blown away right now.
That was cool. So cute. Oh my gosh. Because she makes me feel like she really liked having people together, really getting people together. And she really liked it, like the more the merrier. It was like, invite your friends over, everybody bring a neighbor. And she didn't want anybody to ever feel left out. So if there was like anybody ever at home for the holidays, it was like she was adopting people off the streets. Do you know what I mean? She's like, George is coming over. Like, Mom, we don't even know him. It's like, no one's going to be left alone on Christmas. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, so your mom makes me feel like there's a lot of you that reminds me of your mom when I read her energy. Do you know what I mean? Where you want to help everybody and you want to be there for other people, and you like to get people together, and you like to make people happy, and you're so creative. Your mom is saying that you haven't even had time to see how creative you are. So she's happy that you're doing this for your work. I feel like other things are going to come through this. Like, I feel like this is good that you're doing this, but I also feel like your company is going to grow with other ideas as you go. I don't know what that means, but they're going to be in part of it. Then it's going to be leading to your creativity. So I don't know if you're going to hold on one second. She's showing me that they'll show me pictures of people that are pretty close to like something in your life of how you are. And she's showing me that movie, Joy. Do you guys see that with Jennifer Lawrence? And it's about the lady who invents a broom or something like that. Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
Since she's on like QVC or H or whatever those shopping networks are, but she's showing me like, if you come up with a box or a designing box or a system, like either just patent it or something with a cute little box, and I don't understand what she's saying. So I don't know if we are going to go to people's houses and help them be minimalist, but then they're not going to have a certain container that can also be like a stool that people sit on, or that you can hide things in, or what I'm trying to see. But I feel like you're going to be designing something while you go over and help people, because you're going to be going to the store and you're not going to be able to find that anywhere. So you're just going to makeshift your own. But she's like,
Cool.
Your creative juices are going to be flowing where your other job didn't allow you to do that. This one will. So she's just making me feel like go the distance with it, really have fun with it. That's what she's showing me. And if your clients are open, then do before and after pictures so you can start building up a portfolio and showing other people, she's telling me.
Wow. That's what I would like to do, obviously, with people's permission.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And on Instagram and things like that. So it's going to be a lot bigger than you think. And that's what I'm seeing too. And she shows me Santa Cruz. So I don't know if you're going to be working a lot over in Santa Cruz, if that's going to be a thing for you.
I would love it to be a thing.
You're manifesting very well for yourself. And that's something I wanted to say too, is 2020 is all about watch what you're saying and then watch what happens right after. It's the energy started off really slow and murky, but as we go into 2021, it's going to be watch what you say and then watch it happen. Okay. So some people do backwards manifesting. They'll say, I want to pay off my car, but watch me get a flat tire after I finally pay everything off. It's like, watch that backhanded little something, something. Does that make sense? And kind of watch it from there, because you guys have so many angels around you, as does everybody, helping them with their life purpose. And sometimes when we don't know that, we can tend to feel stuck or we're going the wrong way. But as I'm scanning each of you, I can see that they're telling me that everybody right now is on the right path. Where at the beginning of the year, it started off kind of slow. And of course, in the middle of it started to get murky for everybody. Now is becoming more of a shining the light on like kind of a clearer path. And so I keep seeing that. I think I'm going to jump over really quick to Melissa. They're saying naturopath, naturopath. Have you studied naturopath? Am I saying that word right? Is when I channel, it comes out choppy.
I haven't studied it. I follow like naturopathic, like a naturopathic way of living, like I take supplements, I give my children supplements, we eat like really clean. And I'm interested in it, but it's not something that I've studied.
It's just you're doing it with your kids. There may be something about blogging where you do something like that, or I don't know if they're going, how people do a blog and then they'll get a sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just curious because they're showing it to me for a reason. I don't feel like you would ever advertise anything on anything that you do unless you 100% believed in it, because you would not want to push it on people or be cheesy. But if it's something that works for you, I can see that being something that you would bring someone on as a sponsor. And Melissa, I have to tell you this, and it's make me cry. I can see you with a book, and I see a line out the door around down the street. And it's like making me cry. It feels so good. So I don't know if that was like your long life dream, if this writing a book means everything to you, if it's what you dreamt your whole life of doing. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It just was, girl, it's like coming. I want to tell you, like, I feel like I'm a doctor telling you that you're pregnant. You're not having another baby right now, so don't worry. But I have a feeling of, it's like that feeling when you knew you were pregnant, but you didn't have the test yet to say you were. So it's like the analogy of, you knew you were going to be writing a book, but you didn't know for sure if it was going to be successful. And I'm telling you, I see a line down the street, and they're showing me New York. And I feel like it's a well-known, hold on. Do you guys have a Powell's bookstore? Is there a Powell's bookstore in New York or something? It's
Stop it. Stop it right now.
Okay.
You just gave me the freakiest feeling, because I'm taking this class, a writing class, and my teacher is Julie Powell, who wrote the book Julie and Julia that turned into a movie with Meryl Streep.
Really? Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah, they're all Powell.
Like, I don't know if that's the connection, but when you said Powell.
No, that has to be it. I was like, Powell's bookstore. No, I'll just channel. So there's no coincidence that that this is happening for you right now. Yeah, I love that. And then that book is in New York, right? Isn't she?
I think so. I read it so long ago.
Bronx or something like that.
She might have been like in Brooklyn or something.
I remember she worked for 9/11, so it has a New York reference or something. Because she was yeah. That's why I'm seeing New York then. They're like New York and Powell.
Wow.
See? Yay.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it's like you were so close. It's like, please know. And this is what happens is, when we have a life purpose that comes our way, instead of us being so excited, like, yeah, I'm just going to go do this, we'll get the idea, and then we'll start sharing it with people, and they'll go, Melissa, it's really hard to write a book. And if you do, the chances of you being successful with that book do you know what I'm saying? You'll get wet blanket people all around you. God gives you a vision for a reason. And he gives that to you because he knows that this is your life purpose. You agreed to it on the other side. Yet when we get here, we share it with other people who tell us we're not good enough. I'm a writer, but I'm dyslexic. So I didn't think I was going to be able to write for the longest time. And finally, it just purged out of me just from a need to express. And I'm so glad that it did, because now I'm addicted to doing that. But I also like to teach. But back to all of this other stuff, when I first found out that I was an intuitive and this was like a real thing and it was confirmed for me, I thought, this is really great. I'm going to be a medium. Oh my gosh, I get to do this. Everybody, this is awesome. I've been practicing, but I'm going to get a business card and I'm just going to go down to different metaphysical stores. I'm just going to ask them if I could read for them. Oh my God, this is going to be so great. So I go in front of this store that my good friend Yvonne told me about. And she's like, just go. It's Moonfire Metaphysical. It was downtown Campbell. She's yet passed away. Hello, Rocky. But I went up to the store and I was like, and I immediately thought I was going to pass out or vomit on her front step. So I ran back to my car and I started crying. I was like, who am I to think that I can do this for a living? I don't know what I'm doing. This is stupid. I'm going to go back home. So that night, and this is how God works with you. If you don't follow your life purpose, God and the angels will have it come into your dream. They'll have a friend tell you about it. Your children will tell you about it. There'll be this urgency of like, keep them reminded to keep going. So I had denied the message to go down there. And that night I had a dream of this lady's shop. I didn't know her. I didn't know anything about this shop. I just started learning Reiki, which is an ancient art of healing and laying on of hands. And I did it for myself to help me with anxiety, which, by the way, empaths, Reiki is amazing. So I had learned that. Do you see, it just feels so good. And so that's all I knew. And I had these angel cards. I wasn't certified. I was just practicing. So I was certified for Reiki, but I wasn't certified in doing readings. And so I had this dream because God knew that I needed a bigger message. So in the dream, I was floating through her store, kind of giving people angel readings. And I was doing it outside on these sheer curtains. Now, mind you, when I had gone up to her shop, there weren't any curtains. I didn't see anything like that. And unbeknownst to me, she had just opened her shop. So she was like 2 weeks into opening, and here I walked through her door. So the next day I thought, well, I know that's a vision from God, so I have to go. So I walk in her shop, and I'm more mellow this time. I'm not getting as much anxiety, although I'm a little bit shaky. I would say my hands were sweaty and I had butterflies in my stomach, but I didn't feel like I was going to pass out this time because the dream brought me great comfort. And as I walked through her place, she said, "Hi, can I help you with anything?" And here's the register. And to the right, I said, yeah, I do angel cards. And a friend of mine thought maybe you would be interested in having somebody read for you. And I also do Reiki, which is an ancient art of healing. And I saw myself doing it at your store. And she goes, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, why do you keep looking outside?" And I said, "Well, because in the dream, I was doing it behind curtains." And she looked at the girl behind the desk with her, and they both looked at me and they said, "What color were the curtains?" And I said, "They were white and sheer." And before I could finish the R in sheer, she had thrown the curtains up. I caught them in my hand, and she goes, "I don't know what Reiki is, but you're doing it in my store." Because she had just bought the curtains that she was putting up the next day to hang outside. So this is how the angels and God will get you to where you need to be. But if we follow logic, I mean, there's a certain amount of logic that needs to be there for your safety. You don't want to like overthink things or move too fast. But then there's a certain part of it where it's just this beautiful spiritual message that you're getting. Like if J.K. Rowling someone would have said, "Go get a job. What are you doing on welfare writing this stupid book about a little boy? No one's ever going to read this. Go get a real job." Would they tell her that? And that's probably a thought she had. But when you're having a premonition to follow a certain path, no amount of logic is going to make sense. And there's something with Loretta too. I was like seeing this because everybody else I was seeing like they're writing books and things like that. Then there's something with you and your little boy. Watch him have an idea of something that he wants to do where he's going to have a vision of it. And then God's going to give you the dream of it. And you're going to be like, "We have to do this," because I had the same dream last night. There's something very intuitive about your son. And it would not surprise me if this is something that happens before he even gets out of middle school. It's not going to surprise me. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's going to want to start a YouTube channel. I have no idea. But I just keep seeing he's got a special gift from God, and he's going to have a dream, and then you're going to have the dream. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. I don't have any idea what it could be either.
Mm-hmm.
They love watching YouTube.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's your little one. There's going to be something. I can't see it either when I'm trying to see what he's doing, but then there's so many things that aren't even invented yet. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it would be like trying to give somebody a reading that they're going to work at Facebook before in the 1983. They'd be like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "There's going to be this thing. There's going to be a lot of squares where you put your picture in it." Do you know what I mean? People would be like, "I don't know what you're talking about." So please know that when I start to see, when I ask like, "God, why did you make this certain group together?" This is a group of leaders and a group of chain breakers. And this is a group who will have something challenging happen in their life and will turn it around to better themselves and society. Like you just have it in you. And they're showing me each one of you has had the kind of life and the challenges where you could easily have gone dark and bitter and just yelled at everybody that went by because of what happened to you, correct? They're showing me that. But instead, you even turn it to being even more joyful, which is like the miracle in itself. So each one of you is such a miracle to be able to take something that was done to you, not fair, whether it was losing someone by a tragedy, and changing it to empower yourself and other people. And that in itself is a true miracle. I just keep seeing that over and over again. But when I was asking them, why they were spending so much time on this. They were saying, each of you are going to have visions about something like this. And I was saying, well, Loretta, and she works in a hospital, and they're like, it's her son. He will. And I said, okay. So sorry, Melissa, you had a question.
Oh, I just was curious. When you were saying, I'm seeing this thing about like Powell's and stuff, or just any of the things you were sharing with me, did my grandfather or grandmother come through? They were like who I was kind of hoping to hear.
Yeah, let me see. Like I said, when the loudest person, or the person who, this is the way that people will come in. So I can pull them through too. That's another way that I can do it. But the people who come through on their own, it's like Loretta's, I could see her dad there at the very, very beginning, but then her sister's so loud that she kind of took over, because I'm taking it at family gatherings, then you would hear her voice over someone else's. Do you know what I mean? Like, so in reality, that's how it is when I have them. And then the second reason that people come forward more so than other spirits on the other side is because they're the ones who cause this rift in your life. Had they lived their life differently, then you would be on a different path. So for some reason, that's your dad was coming through as like the spokesperson, if you will. When I start to see a grandmother coming through for you, I don't know if she had a head injury, or if she passed around with anything with her head or her eye, either her or your grandfather. But like before, when I was telling you I was giving Holly a reading yesterday and I started blinking my eyes, I'm getting that kind of feeling, but I know they didn't have false eyelashes, but not so. I know that's not what I'm dealing with here, but my eye almost hurts and then my head starts to hurt. So did they have a stroke or dementia before they passed? Because I'm getting something eye related when I ask about your grandparents coming through. And
My grandmother had a stroke like years ago, but she didn't know. They found out later after she had heart surgery.
Okay, that's okay, because that's what she's showing me, and my jaw is getting numb, so I have to bring that up. So she did have a stroke, but that's not the reason why she passed away, right? That it was something later. Okay, yeah. Can you tell me her name so I can pull her more forward?
Bobby.
I don't know if she had to, even when she was in the hospital or at getting things done, if she always had to have her lipstick just so, she always had to have like lipstick on, because I feel like that's the last thing we're going to be worried about. She's like, do I have any lipstick on? You're like, seriously? Like an IV in your arm and everything. Okay. Because she gets through that way. And I wonder why she wasn't as loud as your dad, because as I pull her name forward, I'm not getting a quiet person. Do you know what I mean? She feels very opinionated to me. Does that make sense? And this is the kind of lady, this is so funny, because I only bring up examples, but my mom didn't have a whisper. And my mom would look at somebody and go, that lady should not be wearing that dress. And I'd be like, Mom, she can hear you. And she'd be like, okay, that lady should not. She's just like, there's no whisper. And so I'm getting something with your grandmother, like, don't say that out loud. She's like, what? It's not my fault she's not wearing an outfit that doesn't match her shoes. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's opinionated. Do you kind of understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm getting like that from her a lot. And I feel like she's very much with you to help you with like, to keep your gumption. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a saying or a movie, it's called Stella's Got Her Groove Back or something like that. It's like Melissa's getting her groove back. Like you're learning again, like who you are, not who other people told you are, not society told you are, your mom, your ex-husband, anybody like that. It's like, who are you and who do you get to be? So if someone's like, oh, that's really silly and you shouldn't be that loud, you're like, no, I can. Thank you very much for your information, but I didn't ask you. Do you know what I mean? So just channel her gumption, because she really did not care what people thought. Do you know what I mean? When she wanted something, she wanted it and she wanted it. She didn't really, I don't see her asking. I see her telling people what she wanted. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The reason I asked was because when you were talking about signs, on Friday, I was sitting on my bed, and I always sleep with my grandma and my grandpa's rosary beads under my pillow.
Aw.
And when I was sitting against my pillows having a Zoom call, actually, and then when I got up, I was walking out of the room, and I was like, what is attached to me? And the rosary bead, like my grandmother's, actually attached itself to my butt, like my pants.
Wow. She's like, I'm on your butt, girl.
I feel like she's telling me something, like I'm here. I'm still here.
Definitely. You know that saying my mom used to go, I'm going to ride your butt until you get this done. You know what I mean? Like she'd be on me because I could procrastinate. Like she's like, I'm going to ride your butt until you get this done. Like there's no procrastinating.
Yeah. So I was just curious if that was like, but I love that the loudest person comes through. I think that's great.
Yeah, no, I love that too. And I love that. Well, thank you for telling me her name so I could pull her forward, because the name has a lot of energy in it. And if it's clouded and there's other people, by having somebody's name, they'll come through. So I love that she was able to come through. And I know that she's making me feel like there's either your hardship was her blessing. So I don't know if because you didn't have your father, you spent more time with your grandmother, or what I'm seeing, but does that make sense? She's making me feel like your hardship was her blessing because she got to spend more time with you. And she just makes me feel like, I mean, I know you have a mom, obviously, but your grandmother is making me feel like you were hers. Do you know what I mean? There's something about like, she was mine. She may have come through her mom, but she's my daughter. Like there's something about her feeling very close to you and a lot more like you. Does that make sense to you when I say that?
Yeah.
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 So sometimes we get parents and we go, was I adopted? Like we just go, this doesn't make sense. But when we pull in like an aunt or a grandparent, then it makes more sense because we have sometimes more alike, you know, we're more alike than our relatives than we are our own parents, if that makes any sense to you guys. And I feel like she's bringing that up. And I don't know if you just took pictures with your daughters, if you just went out and took pictures, but she goes like that. So I don't know if that's just something that you just did. Do you understand when she tells me that? She goes,
I always do. I'm also sitting in a room full of like their pictures like all around me. So
yeah, it would be something significant, like it was somebody's birthday, or you're going to do holiday pictures, or you're going to be doing a picture.
My daughter's birthday was on Tuesday.
Okay,
so I was taking a lot of pictures this week.
That's it. That's how she'll come through. She's saying that you're an amazing mom. Don't ever think that you're not, or that you're not doing good enough, because the kids are so lucky to have you. So pat yourself on the back. Perfect. Instead of thinking what we didn't do, right? Yeah. Let me see if there's anything else that I can see. Okay. I know they're starting to kind of quiet down a little bit because it starts to get kind of, have you ever been on a plane and it starts to descend and you can feel that a little bit? So I'm feeling the energy a little bit lower, but I want to make sure that everybody's getting answers to their questions. So does anybody else have any questions or anything that's been on your mind? I want to make sure that they can give you any clarity. Yes.
I don't really need anything else. I just wanted to say today is my father's birthday. He would have been 88, and that's why I really wanted him to come through. So, and I asked, I prayed, and I meditated. I sang to him this morning, and I touched his picture because I see them. I have them all, like I see them every day, and I talk with them all the time. And but I was really. My dad was very humble. He was funny and sweet and one of the kindest people you will ever meet, but definitely more on the quiet side. And I'm a lot like him that way, where I wouldn't push myself forward. So I appreciate my brother. Absolutely. And he was a force, but I'm really grateful that my father came through, but I just wanted to wish him a happy birthday.
I'm so glad you did. And on my walk when I got back, I said, show me a sign that for whoever needs to hear it today. And I got this song and I go, I don't have that in my Pandora, so I don't know, but it's the song, I think it was by Tim McGraw, Humble and Kind. Have you ever heard that song?
Oh my gosh. Every time I hear that song, I think of my father.
It was
Every
on my-
single time.
Oh my gosh, it was on my Pandora, and I don't have that. I don't even, that's not even a song I have on my like list.
Have you heard it?
I heard it
Have you
today and
heard-
I was crying. I was like, who is this? And I was like, that's Tim McGraw, Humble and Kind. That's
Oh
so
my-
funny. Yes. I was going to post it on Facebook, but I came back and I started some other things. I was like, this is a message for somebody, because I don't even, for him to make that come up on my Pandora, well, I don't have, it's not even a song that I downloaded. Do you know what I mean? So it's very good. So yes, happy birthday to your
Wow.
dad. It's so amazing. And I know he wants to give you his birthday wish. You know what I mean? He's like, you can use it more than I can. So just make a wish for on his behalf. And I love it that one of the best gifts that I can say that this allows me to do my readings and things like that is that then I know now, like, and I think Loretta, you said it at the beginning, that now you know that your sister's around you and you can look for signs. And then Melissa's shown that too. And I know Holly already knows how to do this because she's already gifted before she even got a reading from me and was already kind of doing this. Spiritual teacher in practice or whatever, giving her clients readings all over the place. But now you guys know that this energy is around you all the time, and that you can never possibly then be alone, because it's always around you, helping guide you in whatever your needs may be. If you're concerned about your kids or your family or something like that, they know, and it's on the first front part of their mind too, and you're always in their hearts. So there's never a time that they're not around you. Do you know what I mean? They're always helping you with your life purpose. And Loretta, I'm glad you got that reading for your son, that so that when you know this happens, it's going to be, when people have that kind of thing, I always say that's kind of like a Field of Dreams moment, where he's going to get an idea and think it's crazy, and you're going to be like, no, I had that same dream. We're going to go do this. And I'm not saying that you're going to make a baseball field in your backyard, but it might be that. No, I'm just kidding. It's definitely going to be something where he has an idea that's like, God is there's a special, and I'm not saying that your other child doesn't have a special gift from God, because I'm sure we all do in some way, but some of us are supposed to work for other people, and some of us are supposed to follow this spiritual guidance on this idea to begin something. And I really do have a strong feeling that your little one is going to come up with some type of like entrepreneur idea. Like I said, wouldn't surprise me if it happens before middle school or around middle school. So just so you know, this might sound like a lot if you end up homeschooling him while he's in middle school. And I'm sure now you're like, oh my gosh, we're already doing that now. But if an idea happens where it could be like, we can get this done, but I'm going to have to homeschool him so he can work on this stuff, please know he will be more successful when you do that than if he would have you keep him in school and go to college. Like, there's something significant about this, and I don't even know how to tell you what it is, because obviously I don't know the idea, but I feel really good feelings around it. And your sister and your dad are very much on the other side helping guide him through this. And so I don't know what it is, but watch what he does now. It's going to be like, it's either teaching, helping, music. It's going to be something like that. It's going to be something that uplifts other people's spirits. And that's what I can see.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait to find out. I feel like I want to know. I want the instant gratification. Like, what is it?
Yeah.
But I'll keep my eyes and my ears open, I guess.
Yeah. If he is more of a hands-on learner and he's not so much like picking things up, they're just giving you the gift of, please don't worry about him. Like, if he's going to be successful, because he's the idea maker and you already have enough people around you that can help him logically put it together, but he's the one who's going to have the ideas. So if he likes to, like I said, put those things on the sticky things on the window, if he likes to experiment a lot, he learns hands-on. He's smarter than he's going to show on paper. I know that 100%.
Well, we'll see.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you all for allowing me to give you these readings. I'm so glad. What a beautiful group. And I really encourage you guys to reach out to each other on Facebook. That's the other reason why I wanted to do these groups, is so that people can meet like-minded people. I have never given a group this large where everybody has lost their father. Do you know what I mean? I think there's definitely something significant there. So yeah, so amazing. Well, thank you all for coming. And I think, oh, here comes the dogs are starting to bark. Who let the dogs out? Yep, I knew they were going to do that. All right. Well, that's probably a sign for me to start soon. Thank you so much, you guys, and many blessings to everybody. Thank you very much for coming through. Have a beautiful day. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.